Okay, everybody, welcome to Giddy Up. We have a big group today, and our group is growing. Somebody asked me if I could expand the size of the building. I said, absolutely. We may have to move down the road to the bigger building. Well, thank you all for coming today to Giddy Up and to participate in our community breakfast, first Friday, every first Friday. And I'll say this, this small group of people for the last few years has grown and grown and grown. And fortunately, we get a lot of movers and shakers and important people that are part of the community to come and visit and talk about the things they do. We try to be non-political, and we want to be non-political, but we do want to hear what our politicians and what our community leaders have to say. And we give them this podium to be able to talk about what they're doing for you, and you and you. And it's beneficial to hear that. And we'll hear a little bit of that today. Before we start, though, we'll have our invocation. We'll have Pastor Mark Long come up and do that for us. Mark Long, there he is. Come on up, Mark.
Morning. Well, it's February, and you know what that means. Mardi Gras. And it means a second thing. Valentine's Day. It's interesting. The ladies are the ones that said Valentine's Day. But my son, he has a girlfriend this Valentine's Day, and he was amazed at how much money he was spending on Valentine's Day. You know, love is expensive, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I looked it up, and it says that Americans who are participating in Valentine's will spend about $26 billion this year on Valentine's Day. Counting the ones who are actually participating, that's about $175 to $200 per individual. Love is expensive. And now for me, it just reminds me the Bible teaches that God is love. God loves us, and His love for us is expensive. It says He loved the world so much that He sent Jesus Christ so that whoever believes in Him would not perish but have everlasting life. So it's a good time to remember our love for other people and what we do for them, but also know God's love for us. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your love. Thank you for watching out for us every day. Thank you for creating this world and filling it with everything that we need to live and to enjoy the life that you've given to us. And thank you for your love. Father, I thank you for this community, for a wonderful place to live, and for all the residents and all of our leaders who make this a great place to live. We dedicate this time to you, and that it would honor you and help us to continue to grow in our love for each other and for our community. For it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Mark. Mark's a local businessman as well here, and we appreciate him being in our community. Thank you, Mark. So, as always, we like to thank the folks that helped put this on. Jimmy Zaman, where's Jimmy at? Jimmy, put your hand up. Jimmy's one of our sponsors. He put this thing together 10 years ago, and it keeps on rolling, and that's a good thing. It is growing. Giddy Up is also a part of the sponsorship as well. We're happy to be a part of this. So, now we come to our list of important people that have arrived. I call these guys and ladies the celebrities of the St. Tammany Parish. So we have Jay Watson. Where's Jay? Jay's in the back. Hey Jay. Jay's Director of Public Works. We have Robin Perkins, St. Tammany Parish Clerk of Court. There's Robin. I met Robin earlier. Thank you for coming, Robin. Oh yes, Robin. Thank you. Debbie Manasco. Is that pronounced correctly? I don't see her, but she's here. She's North Shore Media Group. There's Debbie right there. We actually participate with that group and commercials and other things for the coffee shop, the Airbnb. Thank you for doing that. Jack Luke, Coach. Where's Coach? Coach right there. He's a retired school board. Jack's been around a while. I've known him that whole while, so we're about the same age. Good guy. Gina Hayes. Where's Gina? I saw Gina. I talked to Gina earlier. Gina's Mike Cooper's boss. There she is. Is that right? Or one of them, right? Thank you for coming, Gina. Mimi Goodyear. Where's Mimi at? Mimi and I are close friends now. We've been hanging out around Money Hill. She's doing marvelous and magnificent things up there. If you have an interest, we don't want you to move from Folsom, but if you have a hankering to get to a beautiful location, I had the grand tour just a few weeks ago, and I was thoroughly impressed with what's going on there. I might even want to live there one day. Who knows? Hope not soon, though. I got to finish my work here. Dennis Glass, board member for Washington St. Tammany Parish. Dennis, all right, we have also Les Heidelberg, Mike's right-hand man. We have a right-hand woman and a right-hand man. Thank you for coming, Les, and give our regards to Mike Cooper as well. And we have our St. Tammany Parish Men in Blue. I saw at least one. And we want to thank you for coming, Officer Williams. Every day we turn the TV on and we realize what the mistakes that were made with the defunding activities of a couple of years ago. I hope that changes in a good way, and we start to improve on everything we do about policing. Policing is very, very important to our community. It keeps us safe. Folsom is extremely safe. We have very little crime here, and we're appreciative of our police department for that. All right, so one other thing I want to mention, not tomorrow. Tomorrow we have music at the coffee shop, 2 to 4, but more importantly, on Sunday we have the second annual Folsom Community Festival. It's in memory of David Mizell. He was the father of comedians in our area up here. So we call it the David Mizell Memorial Community Festival. So come out, bring your blooms. Well, I won't go there. We'll have blooms on display, and everybody will be in a contest for some nice prizes, and they'll be showing off some of the things that they have grown over this year. We're starting a little early for that. The weather's a little cool, but we're fighting for our space with Slidell. And Slidell's got an important location in the community festival. We're trying to bring it back to Folsom. In fact, Greg Cromer called me. He wanted me to remind you that there's many activities going on in Slidell this weekend. He asked me to please pass that on. Parades, activities, balls, all these things happening. If you have a hankering to do that, please go see Greg Cromer in Slidell. But come right back to Folsom quickly. All right. We have an art festival in April. Scenic Rivers, the Folsom Scenic Rivers Art Festival will be happening again. We have music all the time. We have our market on Thursday, so come be a part of the experience right here in Folsom on the Giddy Up grounds and have a nice time. I had the opportunity to work with Donald. Put your hand up, Donald. That Donald. We were on the radio together, right? Now he remembers. He forgot all about me. We actually held hands, didn't we? So it was an interesting format, bantering back and forth, everybody just saying what they felt. We had kind of a good time doing it. Thank you for the invite. 98.9 CAT, 98.8 CAT, and gotta get that right. I see one of my good friends, Mr. Huey Jenkins. He's here. He's come out from under the saw for a couple of minutes and come to hang out with us. Thanks for coming, Huey. Your daughter's here as well. All right, well, I think I covered just about everybody. Now we're going to get into Well, I'll go on some more because Martha Casavon's here. She's our parish councilwoman. I've asked her to come up and say something for momentarily. Cheryl Tanner, councilwoman. Dane Hocutt, Washington St. Tammany Electric CEO. John Weibel. Where's John? John Weibel, head of the department. He's also Washington Parish School Board candidate for Washington Parish State Representative. Melissa Henry is here. Thank you for coming, Melissa. Clerk of Court, Casey Revere, our Justice of the Peace. I had to call him the other day, and he was Johnny on the spot. I want to thank you, Case, for that. I didn't have to go any further. It all worked out. And that's everybody's here, but without further ado, I also want to mention we're being videoed today. Griffith Mahaffey is right here. He's going to be taping it and downloading it onto the Giddy Up website just for posterity's sake, so watch your language. But the reason we're here, we have a special person in our community, the CEO of St. Tammany Parish Hospital. And she's making great strides because I'm sitting in the tailwind of all the things that she's doing. And we've invited her to come speak. She will introduce some other speakers as well, but Ms. Joan Kaufman is doing wonderful things for the hospital. You might have noticed the growth of the hospital. A lot of that's due in part to the activities that she is doing. Louis, I forgot you. Louis, put your hand up. Louis Fitzgerald. Thank you. I caught you out the corner of my eye.
Said I was on the list, you know.
I might have missed it. Johnny Brule right here. Johnny puts a lot of this stuff together with me. Thank you, Johnny. No one knows how important Johnny is. He likes a life of obscurity. He wants to hang in the shadows, but I like to bring him out. But anyway, back to Joan. She will come up, introduce herself, and introduce some of the things that are going on at the hospital. And something that's near and dear to my heart, I don't want to steal her thunder, but New Heights is starting to really get motivated, and that's due in part to St. Tammany Hospital as well. So I'm going to hush up and pass the mic over to Ms. Joan Kaufman, CEO of St. Tammany Parish Hospital.
Thank you, Frank. You're a little taller than I am. Good morning, everyone. As Frank said, my name is Joan Kaufman, and I am privileged to serve as President and CEO at St. Tammany Health System. And before I go into what I want to share with you guys this morning, Frank does a great job of shout-outs to all of us, but how about a shout-out to Frank? He's a true convener of people. You know, when you think about a community that's thriving, it's people like Frank that bring people together so that we have common interest and we can focus on what we can do to improve the overall health and quality of life for the people that we serve. So thank you, Frank. So we do have a lot going on. You guys know that our region is growing, and we at St. Tammany Health System are trying to keep pace with that. We have a number of things that are going on, but first and foremost, I want to celebrate the people that make that happen. And it's the 2,600 colleagues that are comprised of physicians, nurses, support staff, everyone that comes together every day to make sure that our patients' needs are met each and every day, every touch, every time. And it's because of that dedication that St. Tammany Health System has been ranked by U.S. News and World Reports as the best regional hospital in the metro area, second to Ochsner on the South Shore. So big shout out to the entire team for that dedication and support of our patients and our community. Frank mentioned, thank you. Frank mentioned that there is a lot going on. In fact, St. Tammany Health System is in the largest string of capital expansion in the history of our organization. And so what do I mean by that? Well, if you've passed St. Tammany Health System lately, we do have a pretty big footprint over there now. We just finished our South Tower about a year ago. We now have all private rooms for our patients across the health system, and just the ability to have a shelled-in fourth floor so that as our community continues to grow, we can grow with the community. But it's even more than that. We see a big shift from inpatient to outpatient, and we are building an ambulatory surgery center that's going to be adjacent to our outpatient pavilion on Bootlegger Road. So that will come online in the fall of next year. We also are going to be breaking ground on a graduate medical education clinic. So let me tell you what that means. We are going to be standing up the first residency program for family medicine in Covington so that we can grow the pipeline for physicians in our community. So that clinic will break ground in probably the next 60 days and come online about halfway through, well actually at the end of the year, because it's about a 9-month build. Our first resident for family medicine will begin in July of 2024. So we're trying to really continue to focus on our workforce, and I brought them up in the beginning because it's so important that we have a strong workforce to lead our efforts. And that graduate medical education program, along with the work that we're doing much broader for the broader colleague group, is really going to be instrumental in creating a pipeline for physicians, a pipeline for others that will help continue to serve. But as you look around, we also have our Folsom clinic here in the area, which we're very excited about. Last time we were here, we introduced Dr. Victoria Blossman. She's an amazing family medicine physician that is doing great work right here in your community. And then we also have introduced the New Heights Center that Frank mentioned. And we're super excited about that, and you're going to hear more about that in just a few minutes. But it gives us the opportunity to expand therapy services here in the community. And that's so important because people want to seek care locally, right? We want to stay in our communities when and where we can. And I think they've done a fantastic job of really introducing themselves to the community and bringing patients in. But there's something really special about that location that I might have mentioned last time I was here. And it's really about working with horses, which for those who know me, is near and dear to my heart. My husband and I have 3. And I think it's so important that we share a little bit more about our hippotherapy program. So Ashley Ostendorf is here. She's going to share a little bit more about that. She is our hippotherapist. Who knows what that means? Raise your hand. Not very many people. It's therapy on a horse. It's as simple as that. And I think it's so important because we're able to really connect folks who have special needs or autism or veterans who are suffering with post-traumatic dystrophy. I think it's so important for people to have ways and means to reconnect and use those muscles that perhaps they wouldn't have otherwise used. So what I'd like to do right now, if you don't mind, is to pause and introduce first Mr. Mike McNeil. He is our leader of rehabilitation services. He'll share a little bit about New Heights and the work we're doing there, as well as introduce Ashley Ostendorf, who is our hippotherapist. So again, thank you guys for being here this morning. We are so proud to serve the healthcare needs of the broader region. And if ever you need anything from us at St. Tammany Health System, Frank knows how to reach me. Just tap him and he'll get me in touch with you. So thank you so much and have a great day. Mike?
I think I'm shorter than Joan, actually. Glad to be out here this morning. It's great to see lots of people from the community, lots of leaders in the community, and locals. And so we just want to talk a little bit about the services that we're offering over at New Heights. So we opened back in August of last year. It's a full service rehab clinic, so we offer physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. And it's for adults as well as pediatrics. So we can treat everything from your toddlers all the way up to your people that are having knee replacements and hip replacements, and just, people that have aches and pains as you get older, get the chronic neck and back pain, things of that nature. We can certainly help you with that. We can even address things that are more significant, such as strokes, brain injuries, things of that nature. We have great physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech that can address all of those needs. So we're very fortunate to be here in this community. We're very happy and excited to be able to bring these services to you guys, because we hear all the time, you know, before we open this clinic, it was like, oh, I don't want to go drive all the way into town for therapy 2-3 times a week. You know, it is, you know, it's a hassle to fight the traffic and get into town. So putting a location here in conjunction with our physicians network right down the road is a perfect fit. And so again, we're very excited. The clinic has taken off. Like I said, we opened about 6 months ago. Our volumes are growing monthly, and especially our pediatric population. So we're very excited about the way things are going. We appreciate the support, and just know that if you have any rehab needs, ask your provider, if you live out this way, to refer us to our clinic. It's right there on the New Heights property. And now I'm going to turn it over to Allison. She is a physical therapist who is certified and trained in hippotherapy. And I'm not going to even attempt to get into the details of hippotherapy because she is the expert. And I'm going to let her tell you guys what we're doing out there in association with New Heights and the horses. So thank you for your time.
Okay, so we're progressively getting shorter. I'm sorry. So I'm Allison Ostendorf. I'm a pediatric physical therapist, and I'm the lucky one that gets to see our kiddos in the clinic up front and also back at the barn for our hippotherapy program. So everybody asks me, what am I doing with hippos? There are no hippos. Folsom is safe, okay? Hippo is the Greek word for horse. That's where we get it from. But what I get to do is do physical therapy with kids, with horses. How much better does it get? I'm living the dream. So what we do is we do an initial eval for the kiddo up at the clinic and figure out what's appropriate and what they need. Together with the parents, we come up with therapy goals of what they want to work on, do better with, or make a little bit easier in their life. Then we start our sessions. With our partnership with New Heights, we have about 10 horses we get to pick from. So when we're picking our horse, we're looking for different qualities. How do they move? What's their size? What's their temperament? And what's going to work best for that kiddo? Then we start our session. We get our kid on the horse. We have so much fun playing all kinds of games, doing stretches, activities, exercises with our horse as a therapy tool. So when you think about a horse, they move like us. They walk, they run, sometimes they sit like a dog, but that's a different story. So the kids are getting more input and more movement. When you and I take steps, we walk maybe 100 steps in a minute. A horse is doing 4 times that because they have 4 legs. That's more input for that kid, and every time they're getting that input, their brain is making a new connection. Think about how awesome that is, that we can speed that up for them. So we see these kids usually once a week, and we're on the horse for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then we go into our therapy room that we're so lucky to have with New Heights, and we do your traditional PT. So we're doing exercises, strengthening, stretching, but more importantly, we're having fun while we're doing it. It never feels like therapy, it never feels like work. My goal is for them to have fun and play and want to come back and see me the next week. And I love working with my kids too. So it sounds crazy, it's a little bit different, but there's a ton of research out there that really supports hippotherapy, all the way from your little bitty toddlers up into your adult patients. We've started and we've grown already. We saw like about 20 visits last month for hippo. And initially our first month we had around 6. So we're growing pretty quickly. It's an awesome program. If you're interested, feel free to reach out. The other part is we're so lucky in this community to have amazing volunteers with New Heights. So every session we use at least 1, sometimes 2 volunteers to help us. And those are doing things like leading the horse, grooming the horse, and then being a part of our session. So you're playing games with us, you're engaging with us, but most importantly, you're making sure that kid is safe and having fun. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me or New Heights and we can get you set up. The other great thing we're doing out at the clinic is special needs car seats, which that's a new program. For kiddos with special needs, they should be safe in a car too, right? Everybody should. Most of these kiddos don't have that opportunity. As of right now, the only place to get a special needs car seat eval is Baton Rouge or New Orleans. So we have 2 therapists that are special needs trained along with our parenting center staff, and we're working to bring that program around. So stay tuned on that. But yeah, we're doing awesome things. We're super excited. Did I miss anything? Does anybody have questions? I know it's a whole new thing. It's a world that we're still exploring, and every day is new and we're figuring it out.
Take insurance.
We do, yes, perfect question. We do take insurance. We bill it as traditional physical therapy services. So far we haven't really come across an insurance that we've had trouble with. Yes.
I would like to know about the horses. Are they all full-size horses or are they ponies? And where do you get them?
Yeah, so there's no actual ponies. There's some that look like ponies though. They're a little bit shorter. So we have horses that are probably about this tall all the way up to our biggest boy is KC. He's huge. But we tend to use the smaller horses because I'm short and I need to be able to hold our child, but also because they're a little bit less intimidating for the kids. New Heights is actually the ones in charge of our horses, so that's where that partnership plays in so well. They provide the horses, the barn, the facility, we provide the therapist. But all of their horses are on like a lease program, and so while they're there, they pay for all their vet bills, their food, and then if they're ready to retire, they go back to their owner and live a great life in pasture. Anybody else?
I did forget to mention, if anybody, looking for more information or wants to call the clinic, you can go to our website, saintsamity.health, and you can look up our Folsom location on there. It's got the phone number and everything like that. So if anybody's looking to schedule an appointment, you can go to saintsamity.health.
Yes, and thank you guys for having us today. I know your time is super important, so we appreciate it, and we're super excited to be here and to provide this service for the community.
We want to thank Joan and our staff for coming today. Is that everyone that's planning to speak? Exciting things happening right here in downtown Folsom. So you get the picture. We have hippotherapy. Most people don't even know what it means. I noticed you asked for the definition, but it's an important part of helping children that have difficulties, handicaps. It's been going on now for 20 years in a bit of obscurity, but I think now with all the accolades that we get from the people that come, plus St. Tammany Parish Hospital's assistance, it should explode, I hope. So pass the word around if you know of any families that have children or veterans that have PTSD and want to come out and connect to a horse. And I can tell you right now, I've had the privilege of being the announcer at the horse show. And it's a touching event when we have this horse show. All these kids, you can see the connection in their eyes when they ride their horse. They think of that horse as their own horse, and it's a beautiful thing. So come out for the riding. Got one of my friends, Mr. Jim Gunner. He's a new volunteer. Put your hand up, Big Jim. Jim is volunteering. Is it working out okay, Jim? It's well worth the effort, right? Indeed. Thank you, and I appreciate that. Also want to acknowledge William Burris. Put your hand up, William. William's a gentleman working in the community. He's moved back here. I talk about him a lot because he's doing special things in our community. He's helping children that need help and helping them to connect to each other and connect to different things, events in their lives to make them better people. And that's what we all want, right? All right, well, that doesn't end our discussion. We have a special guest, Miss Martha Casaban. Is she still here, Miss Martha? I'm going to ask her. Martha's a personal friend of mine. She's also our councilwoman for our area in Folsom. And she's, we're looking at a lot of growth in St. Tammany Parish, but we all want it, but we want it controlled.
Not in my backyard.
Not in my backyard. So I've asked Martha to speak a little bit about the Highway 25 corridor. You might have noticed changes have taken place on that corridor. We now have a trailer park sale company, which was very unexpected. But Martha is going to talk a little bit about how that type of thing can be controlled and managed. Trucking companies are popping up all around Highway 25. Do we want that kind of activity? And maybe Martha can shed some light on that for us. Thank you, Martha. Get real close.
Good morning. Yes, Frank has asked me to explain about Highway 25. We have commercial on Highway 25, some of the dentist offices, neighborhood commercial. The ones that are there now were done years ago with a conditional use, but since we don't have conditional uses anymore, we had to put those into compliance. So when people say, oh, but we got commercial on 25, those were kind of grandfathered in, and to bring them up to code, yes, we did go back the little dentist area and stuff. But I am following the thoughts of how what Red Thompson and I worked on the planning and zoning for many years, and we felt that 25 did not need any more commercial from, say, Ramsey Grocery up. On one side, we have a stateside plots and by the river. On the other side, it's all residential. The things that are popping up now, and the one that I think he's talking about, it is under, can't really talk about it because enforcement is looking up. What I have people do, or the office do, when people want to develop something on 25, that they call me, and I can't tell them yes or no if they want to apply, but I can tell them the history and how we're looking. The things I use is the fact that Highway 25 cannot take any more subdivisions at this point in time till the road is fixed and that sort of thing. So there are mechanisms that you can use to control it, and it's not, I mean, they can always go and apply, but as we're seeing it now, 25 cannot, we really just can't take any more commercial. The trailer park, I found out, was annexed. That land was part of the city of, village of Folsom, and it was changed to commercial back many years ago, is what they told me. So that's actually in the city of, village of Folsom.
It's legal.
So what I'm trying to do is coordinate with the village of Folsom to meet our landscaping requirements, which about the setbacks, landscaping, lighting, that we can be consistent like the city of Mandeville. They incorporated ours and we work together. So that's some of the things that I want to look at, and that we can be consistent with how we develop over the whole parish and not one little area design their own, what they want to do. But as far as I'm concerned, that we're residential on 25 up to, like I said, Ramsey Grocery into Covington, that way would be more of the commercial sites and not this way. As far as the other side of Folsom, again, it's more residential. So you've got this, block where there is some commercial and the village of Folsom's in the middle of it. So you have any questions on any of that? But that's, yes.
The requirement now, is it to get a permit before you start any kind of construction?
Yes, you're supposed to. You're allowed to put a culvert in. I think you're referring to what's been going on, putting a culvert in, but once we see that there is large equipment or something, I have reported it, and enforcement is working with these people, and but he has yet to contact me yet, and but I have sent word that that will not be. I think the only way that he could do that would be if we put industrial, which would be no, and any kind of commercial would be a spot zoning, because this is all, it's like A1, A2 areas and stuff. So right now, I know it looks like it's moving forward, but the parish is involved with it, and hopefully that we can control that and stuff. So there are places that, you know, maybe in the future, I told somebody if I could get an urgent care and a dollar store in every community, people maybe would not have to travel 25. So, but I was just joking. But we have that. That's right. We have that, and but in other areas too. A lot of the projects that I had started, I can't believe it's been 4 years, and yes, I am planning on hopefully continuing this, running again. But a lot of the projects I started my first year are finally coming together. I did not realize how long it takes procurement and how long once a project is approved. So they are working on different drainage projects and road projects. We were given a little additional money and we're going to, for roads and drainage. And in March, we're sitting down and looking at our 5-year list on some of the roads that in this area that we're going to be resurfacing and work on the drainage. And so that's your 2-cent sales tax that I think we've used wisely on our roads, because every parish road has, I think, been blacktopped. It's the state roads that we seem to have the problem with, but they're moving, you know, and they're getting around to it. As you know, $1 million, they're replacing that bridge in Hosmer Mill, and weather permitting, so it is seeing some progress. The long term for 25 is that we would have some roundabouts at Winn-Dixie in that area, and a few more, you know, farther down to the Bothalia Bridge. But as the state, we've had approvals for 5 years now for the ones in Madisonville and Highway 22 and Perilou and 22. So it's just as the money comes in from the state that they're able to start these projects. When they say, we actually need one for 1077 around Coquille, but again, it's not a matter of us, the parish, putting up the money to do it, because the state wants you to do it a certain way, and you could put that money up, and then in the long run, it costs even more to get that done, and we may end up losing that money that we did put into it. So we're very cautious. I know it's a pain, and we have to wait on these things, but we are seeing the Bothalia Bridge is finally getting, you know, the new bridge over the river, and I think that was only 22 years. So the bypass, the Oshner Boulevard bypass, they're still working on that. Yes. That's the state, but hopefully we're projecting, I think they said around 25, maybe 25, and that's what I'm saying. It's a lot to deal with, like the $1 million bridge. I found out that that's a company that came in, yes, it's state money, parish money, but the parish had to draw the plan. So you find out that you've got to move pipelines, you've got to move electrical lines. It's a lot more than just the construction of the actual bridge itself. And this takes so much time, which I hate, but anyway, that's how it works. Any other questions? Yes?
Is 25 considered Franklinton to Wellington, or does it go Wellington to the Bothalia Bridge? Because I thought that was one.
I think that's 190 from the, it's the 20, yeah, I think that's considered. I think 25 starts at like Winn-Dixie. And it's actually on the thing as Collins Boulevard. it is how, they're saying it and stuff, so, but on that. But I thank you for your support and looking forward to continuing working for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. St. Tammany Parish Councilwoman. She's actually a working woman as well. We thank her. She works in Kehoe, France as a teacher, and she took, I think you had to take off today to come be a part of this, right? And thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Martha and I had a discussion 5 years ago about property on 25, which I used to own. And I respected the fact that I was told that NC 2 and 4 meant what it meant. And that's what St. Tammany Parish wanted. And that is no big businesses. They wanted doctors' offices, churches, and strip malls of some sort to bring in activity to the area. And it's taken a slight change from that. And I actually sold the property because I felt like it was not going to be worthy of what I wanted to do with it. So we want to protect and preserve our area. We have a newcomer. He's not real new, Joe Yeager. He's here. He's got a beautiful farm down the road. And I know he wants to keep beautiful that route coming up Highway 25. We have a lot of traffic. You might have noticed that. Morning and evening. More trucking companies coming in. They're needed, but we have industrial parks. We have other areas and locations where they can bring their business and help keep it off the highway. And keep it, let's just say keep it within the laws of the parish, and that's where we would like to see it happen. So let's keep looking at those things. And Martha, I appreciate the point you made about landscaping. Let's hold people's feet to the fire when it comes to landscaping their properties, commercial properties as well. Signage. We don't need 30-foot signs on Highway 25, but that's my opinion. That's an opinion. Somehow he got that approved, but he wanted to be able to show what he had, and that's I guess that's important as well. So we'll keep working at it. We'll keep our community beautiful. We have a lot of people that are movers and shakers in this room today. They come every month. Give us your support. I said, Judge Muley, I just see you back there. Put your hand up, Judge. Thank you for coming today. He comes every month. Again, I see some more men in blue here. Francois. I see Mr. Francois right there. Thank you for coming. Any other questions or thoughts? Anybody else have a vision or something they want to add to our discussion? I thank the business people as well for coming. And let's go away from today with the support of our parish leaders. Give them the support they need to make the decisions that are important to our community. We want to beautify Folsom and the surrounding area, and let's keep it up. Thank you all for coming. Oh, don't forget, what's happening Sunday? The David Mizell Memorial Camellia Festival. Mr. Jenkins.
Yeah, Frank, I wanted everybody to recognize Debbie Wagner. She was the past mayor of Folsom, and she did our first Founders Day on 2004. She's deceased as well as David, but she was real instrumental in keeping Folsom going too.
Thank you for the mention. Appreciate it. Whacker. All right, well, y'all drive home safely, have a coffee on us, have a donut, and Jimmy buys only the best, the donut stop, right down the road. All right, take care.